Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the DB3 podcast.
College, playing at guard, a 5'11" senior from Mattapan, Massachusetts, number 3,
It's the
Dana
king of the city and popping them willies. Started with the signing, super stopping in Philly. This is the DB3 podcast. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
First-time All-Star, this Dynamo ranks among the league leaders in three-point shooting and free throw shooting. From the
Hey, this is DB, back with the DB3 podcast. I got my guy, my man 50 grand, D Brown in the building. What's good, fam? Appreciate you.
What's up, fam? Oh, no question. You know how the DBs work together. You know, we did it on the court. It's good to be on your show, so I'm excited about it, brother.
You the only brother I let somebody else call DB, man. That's we only like that, man. We only like that.
No doubt.
So we're going to get straight into it. We got this thing called Shoot the Trade right out the gate. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Might be basketball related. Might be off the cuff to the left, man. So we're going to shoot the trade. It's game 7.
Mm-hmm.
You playing in the NBA Finals. You're on your way to the game. You getting ready to get in the whip. I need to know what that whip is. Let me know what that whip is. I'm going to game 7.
Ooh, I'm probably going to be, I'm not a big car person, so I like trucks. So I'm going to say I'm going to get him a Range Rover, the double R. I remember the one I had back in the day, the Rhino. It was nice. It was gray. It was like one of the first ones that came out back in the day, old school joints. So I'm getting the Rhino, especially in Boston. We in game 7. I'm with the Celtics, so it's snowing. We're getting ready to go through that the snow in the tunnel. So I want to make sure I got the right double R,
You a big
4.6.
You a big bird.
The 4.6, not the 4.0. Let's get it right now.
Always. All right, question number 2.
Yeah.
All the way to the game, all the way in the pods till game starts.
Mm-hmm.
What music gonna get that mindset right? What's bumping in the phones and in the car?
Man, back then, getting ready, I'm listening to Jay-Z, like the old Jay-Z, If
Blueprint,
that's not
it,
yeah, or I'm listening to that Biggie. Like that's the old school Biggie, One More Chance, just thinking about it, all the stuff, the stuff he had, he just had so many songs. Anything Biggie at that time, I was rocking at that time going to the game 7.
All right, get that mind right. Last question.
Yeah.
We know eventually it's gonna come. They're gonna have the D Brown Netflix documentary. I need to know who's gonna play D Brown and why you choose him to play.
I think everybody think Denzel should play him, but I ain't getting Denzel.
All the baddies with him and everything, man.
You know what I'm saying? He too high post. You know what? If I had to choose somebody, it would be I can't forget to do Omar Epps.
Omar, okay, I like that.
Got the eyeball. He got the eyes like me. He's played in basketball movies, so he knows how it works. But Omar Epps be the perfect guy because he's got like the build, he got the flavor. He can do crossover stuff. But he's probably the guy that I would pick definitely to play me in the D Brown documentary.
All right, let's shoot the trade. I appreciate D for the shoot the trade. Now we're gonna get right into it because you have an amazing story, bro. We got this kid from Jacksonville University. You in the draft. The draft, number 19, David Stern says D. Brown going to the Boston Celtics, man. What was that like? You got Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and the great RIP Reggie Lewis. What was it like coming into that situation?
I mean, the most impressive thing of that, other than winning the dunk contest, I think individually for sports, for Red Auerbach to say that they want you in that storied franchise we drafted. Like you said, Chief was there, Larry, Kevin, Reggie was still alive. Just to be a part of that whole history. We grew up. It was 2 teams on TV. It was the Lakers and the Celtics. Right. That was it. We watched it every day on CBS. And Tommy Heinsohn was still, God rest his soul, was always the guy. Like, man, he's so pro Celtic. He don't even care about the Lakers. So you kind of get caught up in that. If you're a Celtic, you never want to be a Laker. If you're a Laker, you never want to be a Celtic. So when I got drafted by the Celtics, I knew the history, watching all the games on TV, seeing the old Boston Garden, the banners and all that stuff. It was like a dream come true, especially being from the East Coast. West Coast people, they want to be the Lakers. East Coast, you want to be the Celtics. Just all that history. So just to be around all that history, the great players, you know, all the Hall of Famers, top 50 players playing in
Oh,
an old Boston Garden. You can't beat that. Like that's some history that you know you got to kind of you got to be a part of it. Like you got to be a part of it. You got a chance to be a part of it. Being with the Celtics, but just hearing your name called by the great Red Auerbach, like that's like a dream come true. Yeah,
crazy. Now, like you said, that was a great time coming in. You were winning, pretty much winning team, even though they were at the end of their career. You guys were still going to the Eastern semis and the Eastern finals, and then all those guys leave. It's a little turnover, and as you mentioned, you became the dunk champion, and that was like a mega rock star, man. You was a worldwide star. That was unbelievable. The shoes was crazy. What was that like, going from being behind those guys in the spotlight somewhat to being that mega star?
Yeah, that was crazy. Number one, for a Celtic to win a dunk contest, you know, back then Celtics weren't done on dunking. You know,
well, we know.
You know, so to be in a contest as a Celtic, being the first one, like it was amazing. You know, no matter what outcome was going to be. But I knew I had a great chance to win. I knew I had some great dunks. Obviously, you know, the no-look dunk was the one everybody remembers, which I never practiced. I never did it before. That was the first time I did it. Made
Straight
it up on
out
the
the
spot.
gate. Wow.
Straight out the gate. You know, obviously everybody knows about the pumps. You know, I was a Reebok guy before that, and you know, you was part of Reebok at one time as well. You know how our family was with Reebok family being up in Massachusetts is a big thing at that time to be part of Reebok. So it was great. You know, all of a sudden going from a rookie, you know, behind the big three, all of a sudden people running past them on road trips coming to get my autograph. It was crazy. And Larry be like, yo, and Larry said a quote. I remember Larry said a quote after the dunk contest. He said, back in the, you know, before all this stuff started, everybody want to shoot like me. Now everybody want to dunk like D. You know, so, you know.
Need that on shirt, bro.
So it made me feel like, okay, you know what? I've identified myself as an individual. I still had to go on the court and perform because I didn't want to just be known as a dunker. So, you know, you have to, you know, always, you know, improve your game and you know, you got to, you know, impress those guys. Like those guys are Hall of Famers, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, and so just all of a sudden, like you said, really overnight, becoming like the biggest star on the team worldwide. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah. So blessings. I clap it up for that for D Brown. That's big right there. Now here I'm in '95. I signed with the Celtics. We show up. We had ML. We had Uncle ML for a couple of years. He was the coolest guy in the world. I call him Uncle
the
ML.
long coats. Remember when Hugo Ball suits he had? It was like the jacket went down to his kneecaps.
Oh, Uncle ML was his own man, bro. But tell you, when I signed my contract with the Celtics, I showed up at the arena to sign my contract. Bro, I had a dashiki on, man. I was like, he's all the way in. That's my Uncle ML right there. That's my Uncle ML. So we played for ML for a couple of years, and then Rick Pitino comes in. Pretty Ricky, what they called him, right? Pretty Ricky, what they called him. So I remember this. I'm going to start the story off at the first day of training camp. Then I want you to tell me what you remember about that. So we go all the way down to Rhode Island. And this summer training camp. The whole camp is illegal. It's against, like, player rules and regulations and everything. So we go down here in July. We go to the meeting. We're all hyped. Okay, let's go. We get ready to start a new part of our career. Rick Pitino walks into the meeting, and he looks right out at the crowd. The first thing out of his mouth was he said, Purvis Ellison, Peter Barrows, D. Brown, and Rick Minor. He said, I don't even want y'all here. I was like, did he just say that to my face? Like,
I do remember that. Like that. Oh, I remember that.
And I looked at you, and we kicked each other's legs like, where's the punchline? But there wasn't no punchline.
There was no punchline. He was dead serious. He was like, if I get rid of all you dudes right now, I could. He's like, I want nobody connected to the old Celtics. He was not happy with us because, you know, we was old heads. I was still the captain. Right. Remember? So everybody was looking at me like, dude, he just called you out in front of all these young dudes, you know, Rodney, Bobby, Ricky, you know, Mike. You know, but I'm telling you, hold on. I got the best line for you. We had Greg Minor there. Remember? And Greg Minor got mad. And he said, Greg, I've been trying to trade you. I couldn't trade you for a full-size Jason Kidd poster. And I said, I heard it all right now.
On the bus in front of everybody. He said, I couldn't trade you for a life-size poster of Jason Kidd.
We was like, oh my goodness. I was like, well, you
Yo,
know what? We
that
got
was
to get up out of here.
that,
And I
that was the craziest camp.
listen, the one regret I do have, I didn't retire as a Celtic. Like I wasn't play my whole career as a Celtic.
Right.
But it was a lot going on at that time. You know, it was a
was.
lot of changeover. You know, obviously he wanted to disconnect himself from the old Celtics. You know, that big press conference he had, like, you know, Larry Bird ain't walking through that door, Kevin, you know, and it was sad. You know, they went through a time, and obviously, you know, after I got traded, my 8th year, you know, Antoine was there, then Paul Pierce came in, and things like that, and they kind of got back, and then obviously, you know, they fired Rick. But the times we were there, dude, we had each other.
Yeah,
you know,
you was my
we
road
had each
dog.
other.
We sitting there, road man on the road. We go out, we be like, man, we got to do something, man. This is crazy.
Oh, this is crazy.
So that was an experience, man. We're gonna have to write a book about that one day.
Oh my goodness.
But then you talked about changing your game, because we talked about you being the 3-point champ, but what most people don't know, and I recognize as a shooter, you became one of the best shooters, 3-point shooters in the league at the late end of your career. Talk about how you had to go about and change your game. Was it due to injuries? Was it due to the change of play, or was it a combination of all the things?
It was a combination of all of them. It had to do with, obviously the league was changing, they shooting more threes. And I went to a team where, you know, when I got traded, you know, to Toronto, late in my career, even my last year or so in Boston, you know, Rick wanted us to shoot threes. Like that was his thing. Spread the floor, shoot threes. He brought that college game in there. And I remember my last game in the Boston Garden. My last game as a Celtic Boston Garden, I broke Larry Bird's 3-point record for the most threes in the game.
Right.
I had 8, and that was the last game I ever played in the Celtics uniform in the Boston Garden. And I remember that because that kind of propelled me, like, okay, you know what? I got to be more consistent shooting this 3-ball. And, you know, you was always great at that. Like that was your thing. Like you pull over half court. I was like, man, I got to be able to shoot the ball like that. And when I got traded to Toronto, Dale Curry was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wait a minute. And then we had Vincent Tracy. So it was basically just spread the floor, you know, let them do their thing and be ready to shoot the basketball. Now, one year, like you said, I led the league in 3-point shooting, 3-point makes, not percentage, but makes. Because, again, I knew how to readjust my game. Father Time's undefeated, so I wasn't dunking on nobody no more.
Right.
You know, I was old vet, so I had to refigure how to keep my value in the league. You know, being a veteran point guard, be able to, you know, be a great, you know, veteran in the locker room, be able to, you know, tell guys the truth and be able to do that stuff. But he still had to contribute on the court. And, you know, the one thing I figured out, if you can make that shot behind the line, Larry Bird told me, I always watch you do it. You get an extra point for shooting behind that line.
Absolutely.
Like you get extra point. And I learned that real quick. My 8th, 9th, as my career went on, you know, that's a big equalizer when you're later in your career to be able to knock that shot down, because it makes you a threat and a valuable piece, you know, late in your career when your athleticism kind of starts going the other way.
Definitely. I had to salute you because people don't know. That's a lot of work, man, to change that game over. But now, you said you ended out your career and then you did a lot of coaching, a couple of different coaching jobs. But the main thing I want to talk about now is the mindset of a player. You go from coaching, watching NBA players play, to now watching your daughter Lexi get busy in the WNBA. Explain that experience, because I had a son that played in college, and I wanted to jump out the crowd, and I just had no control. Explain what that's like to people.
Well, it's crazy because I remember when she first went to college, she went to Maryland, and her freshman and sophomore year, she took the team to the Final Four. And then Maryland moved from the ACC to the Big Ten, but she always wanted to play in ACC. So she transferred to Duke in her last 2 years. And Duke, you know, had a great career. We go watch her play in Cameron Stadium. Indoor stadium was unbelievable. But then she gets drafted in the first round, you know, so we had a connection. I got drafted in the first round. She got drafted in the first round. I coached in the WNBA, so I kind of knew how the league was. I was a head coach there. But I try to be dad, you know. I do want to jump out of stand sometimes. The things you work on, you know, all your when she was young and in college. But I was just proud that, you know, she worked so hard to be, you know, a 3-time All-American in college, you know, win all these awards, get to the Final Four. I mean, her college career was way better than my college career. And then for her to get drafted in the first round in the WNBA, it's just a proud moment as a dad. We talk about, and again, such a sad moment when Kobe passed away. We talked about him and his daughter Gianna, about going through that whole process with their daughter. I did it. Like, I went through that whole coaching her AAU team, being in the gym with her, going to college, watching her play college, getting drafted. Like, I that hurt me to my heart, just because it's one of our fraternity brothers, and Kobe and his daughter and all the rest of the members who was on that helicopter that passed away. But I went through that whole girl dad thing, and that hurt me to my heart that Kobe and his daughter never got a chance to go through that. That's, to me, that's one of the most special, most unbelievable feelings, to see, your daughter go through that, get to the pinnacle of professional basketball on a women's level. And now I can just enjoy her play. She's with the Minnesota Lynx right now. She's been having a great career so far. So it's been really good, satisfying, and for us to enjoy it together. That's been very special.
Yeah, blessings. It's a joy to watch. Blessings to you and Tammy, and salute to Lexi, man, and good luck in the future. And now, couple last things. My man Alan from Reebok, his son plays for me. And I see you guys are still very, very active with Reebok. You have shoes coming out. Allen Iverson has shoes coming out. Explain to me the Reebok thing and how you can still promote yourself through that rock star status you had back in the day through Reebok. That's amazing.
Well, I'm the Reebok OG. Like the guy really, but right before me was Dominique. Like, Dominique was the first big time name NBA player to wear the pumps, like the old school pumps. And then obviously with the dunk contest and me in 1990, 91, I became like, name in the face. And after that, I became Iverson and Shaq and, Sean Kemp, all these other guys that came. But I'm still there, like I have a deal with them, and it ain't changed. Like, we've been together for 30 years, and like you said, we got shoes coming out soon. Alan is a great dude. I see his little man on the little AAU team and stuff like that. He be getting at it. So, that's impressive to see. And you doing great things up there with your place and facility. I remember when you first built it. I was still in Boston. You was building this facility. I had mine in Orlando,
Florida, right?
George. Yeah. I was like, man, this is gonna be great. You're gonna change so many lives. You've done that, so I'm proud of you for that, brother. For sticking with that and giving back to the community like you said you was going to do. Like you lived up to, it wasn't performative. You said exactly what you're going to do, and you've done it, and you're sticking with it. So you've changed a lot of lives, young kids' lives there. So I'm proud of you for that. But the Reebok, just, listen, when you build something like that and your name's associated with a shoe, and somebody says a pump, and the first thing comes out their mouth is D Brown, They did so much for my life, and hopefully I did so much for their company. That's why we still got a connection, and having people like Alan, and I'm real close. Right. He's a good dude. So you always want to make sure you take care of the people that take care of you.
Right. And you created that legacy for your kids and everyone else to do the same thing I'm trying to do now. Yeah. Last thing, man, you gave me a great experience, and I don't know if you remember this, man. We were playing in Orlando, right? I was getting ready to have ankle surgery. And I said, I'm going to go down to Orlando, just play some golf because I'm going to be out for 6 months. And we went to your house in Ellsworth, right? Mm-hmm. And we got to play golf with Payne Stewart, Ken Griffey's pops, my boy Rod. I think my step-pops was there. But before we even got to the golf, I'm going to tell you this story. I'm at your house, beautiful house. I'm like, we go in the garage. You got all Tiger Woods stuff. Shirts, trophies, and you was like, yo, man, take a shirt. I was like, yo, bro, I'm from Boston. I take all this stuff out of here. But you had the whole crew. You was one of the first houses in that community, and you drove me around. They were building Shaq's 30,000 square foot house. Yeah. I thought Tiger's house was a hotel, bro. I'm like, oh, they got a hotel? He's like, no, that's Tiger's house. So explain that experience of being in there and then Payne Stewart having to play with us and give us tips maybe within a year before his death.
Yeah. Now, listen, being in there was unbelievable. Like, I was first athlete in there, me and Marco Mir, who was the other golfer. And it was before guys started moving in there. So right after I moved in there, like you said, Ken Griffey moved in there, Shaq, Penny, Thurman Thomas, all those people lived in there. And it was just good because all our kids got a chance to grow up together. And they understood kind of like everybody knows what athletes do and how much money we make. You can look it up. Like it's public knowledge. But to be around all these other professionals, golfers, CEOs of companies, people that own like land all over the country, to be able to be able to have conversations with them about business, to be able to go play golf with guys who are, you know, professional golfers that way, where they'll give you tips and kind of they're like just like everybody else. And, you know, to be able to invite people to your home and say, listen, my home is your home. Like whatever you want, whatever you need, you know, let's make sure you feel welcome and comfortable. And that's the biggest thing to me. It was like making sure that everybody understood, especially my kids, that a lot of people work hard for their money. And there's a lot of people that are not athletes that are very successful. You don't have to be an athlete to make a lot of money and be successful. And that's one thing I want to show my kids and you know, just when I was in that neighborhood, because that neighborhood was different. Like it was, you know, it was people in there like, you know, you think Shaq had some money.
Right.
Shaq house was like, he didn't have no money like some of these other people in there. We was like, man, what you do? Well, I own Tupperware. Right. Or I own all the orange groves, or I own, you know, this other company. Like, okay, you know, let me talk to you about some business stuff. So to me, it was just more of just learning and being around other great-minded people with families and kids, and they all grew up together. But just, you know what I'm saying, you know, playing golf with those type of players and people like that, right? Man, that's like you said, that's an unbelievable experience just to go through.
Well, that's it for my man D. Gonna definitely have you back, man. Once this NBA gets started, we'll get it again. So let me get a hand clap. Let's get the clap for my man D Brown. I appreciate you, my brother from another mother.
Yes,
all
sir.
day, bro. Thanks again, man.
All the time,
love.
baby. ODB, my love, baby. Love.
All right, peace.